Most leaders don't burn out because they're weak. They burn out because they're carrying what was never theirs to carry. And the dangerous part about burnout doesn't always feel like collapse. Sometimes it feels like success with no peace. Welcome back to Authentic Encounters, Lena Speaks, where we talk about the conversations leaders are having behind closed doors and the ones they avoid until it costs them just a little too much. Today's episode is for the CEO, the C-suite leader, and the high-performing professional who's doing fine, but your check engine light has been on for quite some time. You're leading teams, you're producing results, but inside you're just a little crispy. You're exhausted and you're running on fumes. My guest today is Brittany Wayman, founder of Soul Care Coaching. Her work was born from her own season of burnout, when there was no peace at work or at home. And now she helps leaders uncover the thing beneath the thing, the pace, the patterns, and the pressure that slowly takes you down. And she breaks down something every leader needs to hear. Soul care isn't self-care. Soul care is tending to your inner world, your rhythms, your boundaries, your connections, so you don't flame out and drop out. In today's conversation, you'll learn what a soul care plan looks like in real life and how leaders can protect their energy without losing their edge. If this hits home, don't just listen. Do something. Go ahead and subscribe and share this with one leader who you know who's also carrying too much. And if you're ready to get clear on what's draining your leadership, I've opened a few limited number of clarity sessions. DM me the word clarity and I'll send you the private booking link. All right, let's get into it, good people. Welcome, Brittany. Hey, Brittany, thank you for joining today. I'm super excited to have your bubbly spirit, your caring heart, your insight on how you care for people and how you care for their souls and your servant leadership view and lens on this podcast on Authentic Encounters. So we're just going to open up. I'd love for you to share a little bit more about yourself, your passion, the start of Soul Care, and all the things you see it doing and impacting this year in 2026.
Absolutely. Well, Lena, thank you so much for having me on. I'm so excited to be here and to be able to spend a little bit of time with you will be great. It'll be a perfect start to this snowy, cold morning that we're having here in Indiana. So I'll share a little bit about Soul Care Coaching. So Soul Care Coaching for me was birthed out of a season of my own burnout and exhaustion. I was completely just crispy. I was working so many hours at my job, and I was also having some struggles with my son in school. So he was also having struggles. And, oftentimes it's like when you have this, like, I'm struggling here in this professional work environment, and then I also have
Yes.
some struggles at home. It's like there's no peace anywhere.
Mhm.
And even sometimes if you were having struggles at work, you're like, I can come home and I can have some peace. And I was just having struggles in both of those areas. And so I took some time away, stepped away from work. And I believe that oftentimes our businesses, our passion projects are birthed from our own pain or unmet need that we have experienced. And so that is how Soul Care Coaching was birthed, is that I wish and I longed for having someone who would have been able to walk alongside me in my journey, in my season of burnout. So I didn't get to the point where my check engine light was on. And that's essentially what happened. My check engine light was on. And I wish I would have had someone to help me with preventative tools
Yeah.
so they could have helped me get to the point where I could have had that longevity within my relationships, within my career. So I didn't get to the point of burnout.
Awesome. So listen, I hear soul care and we often hear the word self-care. Talk to me about how they relate or how they differ for the type of work that you're doing.
Absolutely. So soul care tends to the inner part of ourselves, our inner world. We often move at such a fast pace in life that we rarely take time to slow down. And I believe it is the pace, patterns, and pressures of life, and that's what takes us down. We go to the point where we burn out, we flame out, and then we drop out completely. And that was again like my own experience where I just had to just go and take a step away. And so soul care is truly tending to your inner needs, truly tending to your soul, because that will always, most often get over neglected and overlooked and neglected because we're moving so fast in life.
Yeah.
And I believe those soul care components are connected to our connection, connecting to others in the community, those healthy rhythms that we cultivate, that we try to cultivate. It also looks like protection, those boundaries that we establish in our lives so that we don't get to the point where we're completely burnt out and exhausted. It also looks like that nourishment and wellness journey, right? So it's like,
Mhm.
how am I taking care of myself? Am I sleeping? Am I getting enough water in, Lena? Am I getting my hydration in? So,
Mhm.
just this morning I was like, let me be sure that I get some water, sips of water, and
Yes,
before I get to the fully leaded juice of the
that's right.
coffee.
That is so funny. Listen, so true. Let's just be honest. Like I feel like I'm constantly dehydrated. I'm not going to even, pretend to not be. So yes, so that refreshment that the water brings also is what your program brings. So I heard you say pace and patterns. And right now, some of my newsletters that go out, we're talking about the unseen
Mhm,
patterns.
mhm.
Talk about what you see when you're working with leaders who are burnt out and they don't see the patterns and they're not aware of the pace. What kind of tools, support, or resources do you offer that help them uncover the unseen?
Yes, absolutely. In my coaching practice, I do a lot of listening.
Uh-huh,
And I also do a lot of asking questions because
uh-huh.
I'm trying to get to the thing beneath the thing. What is
Yeah,
the thing beneath the thing that is maybe unnamed, that maybe you don't even realize is a thing? And so I really do a lot of that listening and asking those questions. And I also, one of my favorite things to do with my clients is to create what I like to call a soul care plan.
yeah.
And so we create a plan based on those emotional needs, the connection, the protection, the wellness. We create a plan around that so that way you have a tangible action step that you can take with you in this journey for your emotional well-being and taking and tending to your soul. And then I would also add to that as well with the pace and the patterns and pressures, understanding what are the things within the pace and patterns and pressures that you need to release. Like, what are the things that are not yours to carry?
Yeah.
You know, for example, there could be something that you're like, I could outsource that. Like, I don't necessarily have to do that.
Yes.
Now, me personally, I love to go to the grocery store. I love to, that's like my little time to myself. I'm like, ooh, yes. Like, especially when my kids were little, I would just go to Target and get a little thing of popcorn
Yeah,
and I just roll around Target. But for some people, that is something that they don't necessarily need to do, so
exactly.
for them, that might look like, okay, I'm going to do, a pickup order or
Yes.
I'm going to do grocery delivery. And then that is going to give me more time to tend to my soul, to take care of the things that I need to take care of.
Mhm.
For other clients that I see, it's, a big piece of it is the accountability. That's like, "Well, you said that this was a goal. You said that this is something that you wanted to do. So let's break this down into small and measurable steps so that way you can hit that goal that you have and create momentum around reaching the goals and accomplishing the things that you want to accomplish in life."
That's good. I can so relate to the grocery delivery, right? Let me just be honest. Yes, I need it for convenience because we're all running, right? I'm one of those people that I probably need to sign up with you after we get off this call. Um, but the
Book
other
a
thing,
consultation.
okay. Listen, the other thing about that too, I'm gonna be honest, is my stage of life. I'm trying to practice emotional intelligence, and what I have
Mhm,
learned about
mm,
myself is have Kroger deliver the groceries to the front door. Because
mhm.
I find myself in the grocery store talking to people like this. Did you have a purpose and a plan when you came in the store today? Or did you just want to walk in front of me? So, yes, I mean, those practical steps, right? That is awesome. As well as being a single parent, when I was younger, people would always say,
Mhm.
"Oh, you need a mate, you need a mate." And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go pick one of them up right off of the shelf over there,
On Prime. Yeah,
Amazon
okay.
Prime. He gonna deliver them to the door." But what, I will say, God was very faithful in giving me wisdom to say, "Oh, when they got old enough, Uber." And most of the time, people won't think about that until they get a coach,
Mhm.
somebody like you that holds the accountability, right?
Absolutely.
Because you are a coach and you help them, and people don't understand this. They underplay coaches so
Mm.
much. If your top professional athletes have more than one coach, as just an individual contributor, leader, parent, whatever role you play, you need a coach as well because they help
Mhm.
you get points up on the board. They help you play the
Absolutely.
game of life more effectively. Makes sense?
Absolutely.
Yes. So I love the part about soul care. Now, with your title, your gifts, your talents, your resources, and all of your trainings and certifications, you can do both, right? You can be in what some people would say the marketplace or, the workplace, and then you could be in the faith based communities and organizations. Talk to me about that dual lens. And even though we know leadership is in both. And honestly, we're all leaders. If you're a parent, if
Absolutely.
you're a parent, you're leading. If you're a coworker or a peer, you're leading because somebody's following you, right? So
Mhm.
talk to me about that dual lens of soul care, how you can both serve faith and also the secular, maybe marketplace, workplace cultures.
Absolutely. I believe that, I feel very, very blessed, very fortunate with the education, background, and lived experiences that I have had.
Mhm.
Um, I was a teacher for 10 years. And so I always tell people, if teachers out there in the world, there are so many transferable skills. And
Yeah,
so if you're ever at a point where you want to see what else is out there, so many transferable skills as a teacher, it's like, hey, I led a team of 30 people.
yeah,
They may have been 6 years old, but you let them. Okay? You led them people.
yeah.
And
And
so,
those 6-year-olds honestly were more challenging than the adult the
that part
adults.
I'm saying.
Let's just
I'm
be
saying.
honest, and sometimes
Yeah.
a lot more craftier, okay?
Absolutely. And I tell people all the time, I was like, I was a teacher for 10 years. And I said, I was also a social worker at
Yeah,
times. I was the therapist at times. At times I was the nurse,
yeah,
and then I was the, coaching the parents up. Every now and then I would teach. Every now and then I could teach.
that's right.
But, it's like you're playing all of these roles for people. And for sometimes it was like, their first baby that was going off to school. And so you're trying to be an emotional support to that family. And then you have other families who are like, this is the fifth kid. They're fine. Like, skirt, get them out of here. They
Yes,
pull up on the curb and they're like, get it out of here. But my experience as a classroom teacher, I'm so thankful for that because I really do feel like it is one of those things that set me up well in life. And it helps me truly understand people. It helped me understand the diversity of families, diversity of people, diversity of thought. Which is really
yeah,
important. And just how to work and navigate all kinds of different people groups when we're all working for the common goal. We all
yeah,
have this common goal that we're working towards. And then I was very fortunate enough to work and serve at two multi-site churches as a pastor. So I was very grateful that I had an opportunity because again, that also gave me leadership experience. It gave me experience with leading teams, with leading people. So I had very large volunteer teams that I worked with, as well as staff teams that I worked with as well. And so so I had my experience, in the classroom. I've had my based experience working in a ministry setting, large multi-site church experience. Then I've also had experience working just at a nonprofit at a foundation. So doing work centered around very mission driven work, doing work centered around development. So in fundraising and really storytelling the mission that we have
yeah,
and getting people engaged with their time, talent, treasure, and testimony. And so I feel like those lived experiences have really set me up for this kind of like,
yes,
ministry in the marketplace environment.
yes,
And so I've had an opportunity with my clients now to serve in for profit organizations, to nonprofits, to faith based organizations. And I love those opportunities when the faith and the work
yeah,
centered around soul care, when that aligns. When
yeah,
that aligns, it's so exciting for me. And I also understand too that people need soul care regardless of if you have the same faith background that I do, that people still need tending to their souls. And so this is why when I created my soul care journals, I created two journals.
yes,
One is faith based and one is centered around scriptures and prompts around those scriptures, and the other one is not. It's centered around prompts around the refresh, renew, and restore framework that I have, that I use and that I work with my that I use and work with my clients. So soul care truly is is for everyone. I love when the intersection, when it can intersect, and there's can be faith tied to it. But I also realize and respect that everyone has different paths of life. And again,
Mhm.
with those experiences that I've had, it's really set me up, I believe, for success in those ways.
Yes. And I so agree. So that is the same thing, right, with authentic encounters. We share so much of that, right? Our stories are very similar. We share
Absolutely.
so much of that. All of those environments that you talked about, you had opportunities to engage with people, to see them past the environment, to see them at the stage of like they are, oh, this is my fifth kid in, or, oh, this is my first. They're 6-year-olds, but then you also had the faith base and what it meant. Like we met at church. My sons used to be under your guidance when they used to greet at the door. Remember, they were greeters. That's what we.
Oh my gosh, so fun. I still remember that time we were downtown. Do
Mhm.
you remember this? And it was like pre-launch, and I remember we were all trying to get into the selfie, and I remember your head was like on my shoulder trying to get
Yes,
into
that
this
was so
selfie.
funny.
But
Yes.
just so many hilarious memories of
It
that time for
is.
sure.
And so I'm
Mhm.
super excited too. One thing I really admire about you is your ability to network about the city and not networking for the sake of just networking. Like you really show up and support. You go to events and you celebrate other leaders, other entrepreneurs, other people that are living out their dreams and living out their callings, whether that is Indianapolis Recorder. I saw you at an event there. What is it? The BBTI
Yes.
cohort.
Yes.
You're everywhere supporting so many people. So tell me, how do you get your soul care? I am amazed that you are about town supporting people, also networking, and you make it look like ease. And then you're a mother and wife, and
Hmm.
you're doing all the things. How do you find time to do it, girl?
Yeah, yes. I absolutely love being able to support and elevate people. So one of the practices that I have around that within different community groups, whether it's Indiana Black Expos, BBTI, or other groups that I'm a part of, I really try to be intentional around that. That's like, what do you have that's coming up that I can support or that I can share or that I can tell someone about? And I do that with my clients a lot too. I'm like, oh, hey, I heard this. Let me make this connection for you. Like I met this person. Let me make this warm introduction for you so that all of us, I mean, if you, Lena, if you win, that means I win too, because I
Yeah.
get to celebrate you, you know?
Hmm.
If there's a win and a blessing in your neighborhood, then that means it's coming to some more people too. Other people are going to win and other people will be blessed. And
Yes.
so I'm a firm, firm, firm believer and celebrating, encouraging, and elevating people in that regard. And then in terms of how do I keep myself healthy and how do I tend to my own soul, I am a Bible before breakfast and Bible before bed. So type of person. And so that's a rhythm that I have in my life that I do my Bible and I do my journal in the morning before I pick up this phone, before I open up a computer. That is the first thing that I do. It truly, truly helps center me. And we're engaged at our church. And so I do believe the importance of being in having a solid church home because there is so much community and connection and care that happens when you are engaged in your local church. I think it was in December, there was a snowstorm. It was maybe like 2 weeks before Christmas
Yeah.
and I remember I had a meeting on that Saturday, like a lunch meeting.
Mhm.
And so I was like, oh my gosh. So I'm over here schlepping around, going up to Keystone at the Crossing for this meeting. And I go, and then, I finally make it home. It took me a minute to get back home because of the snow. And church was the next morning. And I'm like, okay, are they canceling? We're like, are they canceling or we're not? What are we doing? They were like, no, we're open. We're on. So then I was like, Lord have mercy. I said, well, I got to go to church because I sat there and went out in this snow the night before. And I
Yes.
was like, I can't be over here like not going to church. And let me tell you, Lena, I was like, I'm so glad that I made that choice to go because
Yeah.
for me, church is like, this just a rhythm that I have to have weekly.
Yes.
And it's like it just helps get me through the week. Not only do I, get to see my friends and get to serve, if it's my Sunday to serve, but I also get this opportunity to experience this corporate worship together with
Mhm.
community. I get to hear a word and go deep into God's word
Yeah.
and determine how it can apply to my life. Determine, do I need to send this sermon to a friend? Who else needs to hear this word? Who else needs to hear this message? You know? And that is to me, it's like literally, it's like the lifeblood that then gets me through the week so that I can keep going. I can keep making an impact. I can keep
Yeah.
serving people and showing up for them in a healthy way.
That's
So the
good.
church is a big, big one of mine. I also have a coach. I have a mentor myself. And
Mhm.
so I also have that accountability piece for me. And I have people making sure that I'm not,
Yeah.
that I'm not drifting off
Yeah.
of my mission and that I am staying healthy and the best leader that I can be. Because you and I both know we have to lead ourselves well. If we don't, we are first. We got to lead ourselves well before we try to lead anybody else. We got
True.
to put our own oxygen mask on so that we
Yes.
can lead other people.
Yes, girl, because when you are pouring from an empty cup, that's not pretty.
Mm-mm, dry,
You know what I'm saying? You're dry, you're snappy, and people be like, "I don't know,
crispy, and
what kind of
crackety, and
soul care you giving? What kind of authentic that was a real authentic encounter right there, baby." Listen. So, when you think about some of the tools that you use and some of the assessments, talk to us about those and how you incorporate those into, your coaching session, your trainings. What does a typical training look like using and implementing those tools? Talk to us about
Mm,
that.
absolutely. The with organizations that I work with, I really try to customize workshops, trainings, professional development based on their needs, based on their pain points that they're experiencing as an organization. So, for example, I've got an organization that I'm going to be working with or actually next month in February. And we've talked about like, okay, what are the needs that your organization is having right now? And they were like, it's just kind of a slower season for us. And so we really want more of the soul care piece. And so we're doing a session very much so centered around how do you tend for your soul? Because their busy season will be coming. And so it's
Mhm,
like, how can we get our preventive tools in now
mhm,
before the fullness and the busyness comes? So I really try to have a very unique and customized approach to
yeah,
how I support organizations. I am also trained in Working Genius and DISC. And so that is a tool that I use and I take into organizations as well. So sometimes organizations will hire me for a training. And then with some organizations that I work with year round, we use that language consistently within the organization. So we're all speaking the same language,
yeah,
and it's so helpful when we all are locked in
mhm,
and speaking the same language, and using it as a tool. And I love to use those tools as burnout prevention tools
yes,
because when we have that self awareness, it helps us to lead ourselves better and it helps us to lead others better. When we have our own self awareness to know, with Working Genius, it's all about where you find joy, energy, and fulfillment in your work.
yeah,
So it helps you align with career possibilities, career options, roles to consider. And so I use that tool a lot to help people understand themselves and to prevent the burnout. And then, as you know, with DISC, it's all about communication. And so it helps us understand what my communication style preference is, and then
mhm,
helps me understand others, whether it's a coworker or a client that I'm working with, so I can adjust and pivot my communication style in order to meet them where they are and to make it the
mhm,
most meaningful interaction possible. So to summarize, I, really try to have customized approaches when it
yeah.
comes to organizations and also individuals that I work with.
Oh, that's awesome. I don't use Working Genius. I usually partner with different people when I get a, contract that I'm not certified in because I'm like, I don't need another certification. So now you're my certified partner when it comes to Working Genius.
I
Um,
got you.
Pastor Darren Earlywine is my certified partner when it comes to Enneagram. Listen, because I do believe assessments play a crucial role because people need data. They need to see, like,
Indeed.
you need data. This is how you're showing up, or this is what you desire. These are those unseen patterns and things that people are
Mhm.
not aware of. So it's not even that especially with DISC, right? It's not only that, oh, this is how I am and this is just this. This can also give you some tools to help adapt to the other people that you're interacting with. So many times people are like, I don't want to be put in a box by an assessment. No, assessments say this is where you're at, but there are also tools to help you understand if you want to be somewhere else different, this is what we need to work on. Oftentimes I tell people that because they like to say it's gonna box me in. We're not here to box you in and label.
Mhm.
We are here to give you a clear insight of where you're starting and see where you would like to go, right?
Mhm.
So that is awesome. So
I
tell
agree.
me, yeah, tell me, as we talk about soul care, the company, right? As we talk about soul care, the company, and being an entrepreneur and all the things, what have been some of the um, insightful things that you've learned? Because we know as leaders, right? We know how to do trainings, we know how to lead people, but boy, this journey of entrepreneurship is a little
Yeah.
something different, honey. My soul need care from that. Even, even as I've talked to you this morning about launching out into doing this podcast, these are the lessons that I understand. So, what are some of your lessons that you're learning as an entrepreneur, as you're leading the way, not only from, what you bring from a coach
Mhm.
and a trainer and all of the things, but what are you learning as a woman developing as an entrepreneur?
Yeah. Oh, that's such a good question. I would say that the biggest thing I have learned is to seek help and support. This journey as an entrepreneur can be very isolating. It can be
Yeah,
lonely. As you know, it's like we are the finance part department. We're doing payroll, invoices,
yeah,
your profit and loss. Trying to run all of that. And
girl.
then, for many of us entrepreneurs, we are also running social media. We're trying to, create meaningful and engaging posts. We're also trying to create engagement and also, as a thought leader out there. So that is also a big component of what we do. We're also business development. We're out here trying trying to engage and drum up new opportunities and new business. And so it can be very, very isolating. And so I believe it's so important to seek help and support. One of the things that I did last year, which was incredibly, I'm just so grateful for those opportunities, so fortunate, so blessed for the opportunity was I'm an IU alumnus, go Hoosiers, Natty Championships. Shout out to the Hoosiers for that.
Yes.
Such an exciting time. Been waiting our whole lives for this. But I'm an IU alum, and but I did not go to the Kelly School of Business. Okay, Lena,
Okay.
I'm not a Kelly School of Business graduate, and so I was an education major. I've got 2 degrees from Indiana and everything, and so I've got a bachelor's and master's, but not a Kelly School graduate. And so as I started this journey, I was like, I don't know what I don't even know. And I need some support. And so it was around this time last year, I was on LinkedIn and I saw 2 cohort opportunities.
Okay.
And I was like, huh, okay, like let me do some research and see what this is about. And the applications were both due at the same time.
Yes.
One cohort started earlier than the other one.
Mhm.
And so, but I was like, let me apply for both of them so I can just, and like I was like, hope I'll get into one, but I'm going to apply for both of them and then just see what happens. One of them was through Edna Martin Christian Center, which is on the east side,
Mhm.
ran by Carmen Pumpkin Davenport. And I got into that one. I started that cohort. It was incredible. So much support that was offered. I had already started my LLC at that point, but the organization was supporting businesses that wanted to create a business and they were covering their LLC for them. They were covering that LLC fee for them to get their business started. Now, again, I already had my LLC, but it was a great cohort, especially if you were in ideation
Yeah.
stage with your business,
Yeah.
or if you're like, I just need some basic fundamentals.
Mm.
We had people from customer service experts to the city of Indianapolis came to share with us if you are a woman or a minority owned business, how do you work on that certification.
Mhm.
And so we had lots of industry experts come in and share with us, again, such valuable experience. Then, when I was about halfway through that one, I found out that I got into the Indiana Black Expo's Black Business Training Institute. And so I was like, well, I got to do it. Like, I
Yeah.
got to do it. I got in.
Yeah.
And so I participated in that one, and that one was incredible as well. Truly helped elevate my business between the resources and
Mhm.
opportunities and connections.
Mhm.
And so I would encourage people, especially if you are considering a business or if you have a business that you are looking to figure out, how can I elevate it? How can I continue to grow? To look in to see what some cohorts are out there. I believe Indie Chamber has some cohorts
Mhm.
as well, but look to see what are some business cohorts that you can jump into, because not only will it help you increase in your knowledge,
Mhm.
but it'll also help you with like connecting again, as
Yeah.
I mentioned before, Lena, how isolating it can be when, you're doing all the things for your business. And sometimes you're like, I just want a thought partner. I just want someone to
Yeah.
bounce an idea off of.
Yeah.
And so having that trusted community is really valuable. One of the things I did this year, in particular, because, I'm, full-time entrepreneurship, I was
Yeah.
like, I don't have like an office to go to where there's like water cooler talk, or like it's just
Yeah.
me. And so I was like, huh. And so I joined a co-working office. I joined a co-working space. And so it's great. I've got this awesome space that I can use during the week. I can invite clients to this space. So when I have individual sessions with folks, I can invite them here. There's also workshop and training rooms here as well. So if I'm
Yeah.
hosting an event, I can host it here. But also there's a community of tons of business owners, from for-profits to nonprofits, that utilize this space. So my soul is getting that need met of people. I'm massively extroverted. I know you know this. And so I'm like, hey. And so I'm
Okay.
like, good morning, you
Yeah.
know? So in our little cafe area where there's coffee and water, I'm like, "Hey, good morning. Like, how's it going? Tell me about your event the other day." So I'm
Yeah.
getting that need met of,
Yes.
that community and the connection and everything. So I would totally mention, like, again, like just being a part of that community, asking
Mhm.
for help, seeking help, and
Yeah.
figuring out how can you not do this alone, because we were not, especially as women of faith, we are not meant to journey alone in this. We are not meant to do it.
Yes, I agree. And so you had shared the Indianapolis Black Expo Business Training Institute with me as
Yeah.
well. So I just
Yeah.
wrapped that up in December. Very,
Congratulations.
yes, very, very, very beneficial there. And I think you sent this to me as well. Somebody did. Same similar story. I got the one for Indianapolis Black Expo and the one for Butler's business
Yes.
cohort. And
Yes.
so I'm in that one until April, and I will tell you, makes a world of difference. No
Mhm.
longer trying to reinvent the wheel, trying to plug and
Yes.
play. You can go where the knowledge is, where there is community. Like, we're not
Mhm.
meant to walk life period alone. And so I often say, I tell people authentic encounters is that it's from the woman at the well, right? She went to the
So good.
well for a basic need of life, water,
Mhm.
met a man, had a conversation, and her life was forever changed. And she left
Yes.
there and went and told other people. And that is what we're here to do. So when you talk about the water cooler moment, I'm like, yeah, that's an authentic
Mhm.
moment. You need that engagement. So many times people don't understand, like, we are meant to walk alongside one another, and we don't have to go back through and rewrite the process. There is somebody that's
Mhm.
been an entrepreneur before that will tell you,
Yes.
go here, don't go there.
Yes, that's it, and I'm so grateful for, people like that, that are, like, not gatekeeping, right?
Yeah.
They're not gatekeeping, they're like, "Let me just tell you
Yes.
what I did and what helped me," or, "Hey, here's somebody that I know that
Yes.
could help you with this," and, like, shout out to Tierra Dotson
Yeah.
from, the facilitator of the BBTI cohort,
Mhm.
like, such a great resource, so helpful,
Yes.
um to me and my journey, and I know many others. But yeah, I
Yeah.
think that is so important that it's like we have this community that's like, hey, did you hear about this? I know oftentimes with our group from our BBTI, we will be like, hey, there's this grant opportunity. Did you see this? Or hey, there's this event
Mhm.
I'm going, who wants to go with me? Or
Yes.
hey, someone said they're looking for a caterer. I dropped your name, I tagged you
Yes.
in this. And it's like that's the stuff that we need. That's like,
Mhm.
very relational. Nothing's transactional. It's very
Yeah.
relational. That's like, hey, I want you to win just like, I know you want me to win.
Yes. And that's good, right? And we should be as skillful as we are in what we do, coaching, workshops, all of that stuff. We need to be skillful business owners as well, because the reality is if we don't do it effectively, we could not, be asked back. So there's a level of that I really appreciate about you, a level of excellence, not perfection, but there's a level of excellence
Mhm.
that you bring. And I often tell people, like, perfection is not attainable, but excellence is, because you set a standard, right? As we begin to wrap up, I'm just going to give you full screen and whatever message you would like to share with those who are listening, that would be some form of encouragement with them, where they can find you at online. The other thing is, I'll link in this description your website, your LinkedIn page, and your Amazon link to the books. I've purchased them, but I'm going to just give you full screen so you can, speak from your heart to the people that may need some
Mm.
level of soul care as they're listening to this today.
Absolutely. Thank you. Friends, thank you so much for joining us. And Lena, shout out to you for creating this space where people can hear from leaders in the community and figure out, hey, what is there? Is there a piece here for me? Is there something here for me, whether it is a word of wisdom, advice, a thought, or resource? So, shout out to you for creating this really special and intentional space for people. And as we get ready to wrap up, friends out there that are listening, that are watching, I want to encourage you, whether you are an individual contributor, a leader in your workplace, whether you leader at home, a leader with your kids, a leader with your spouse, that you take care of you. There are so many things that are pulling for your attention. There are so many things out here that are distracting us. We know that there's some heaviness also going out on in this world as well. There's just some heaviness that people are experiencing. And I want to encourage you to, if this is you, if this is resonates with you at all, that you reach out to someone, whether it is Lena, myself, a friend, a trusted person in your life, that you reach out to someone so that way you can get the support and help that you need to thrive within your community, within your career, within your personal relationships. I have a few things that I would love to share with you all. Like Lena mentioned, I created 2 soul care journals, and I know she'll link that so that way you can check those out. They're 30-day journals meant to refresh and renew and restore you. They're full of prompts for you to journal and for you to reflect upon. So I want to encourage you to check those out. They're available on Amazon and then on my publisher's website, so you can check those out. I also have a retreat coming up March 14th, 2026, over at the Fitness Farm, which is located near 44th and Michigan Road. It is from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. And the day is designed for you to really catch your breath, to define and identify the things that are draining you, and to also figuring out what are the things you need to release. We also have an incredible breakfast and lunch provided by Chef Charity Kaysen. So not only do we want this time to feed your soul, but we want it to truly feed you and have healthy food. She created an incredible menu the last time we gathered, and so I know she's going to knock it out of the park again. And on site at the venue, we'll have a massage therapist. There'll be time for creative soul work, so you can explore the grounds and check out the farm animals. You can take a walk. We'll have puzzles, art kits. If you just want to lay in the grass, you can go lay in the grass and have some grounding time. So there'll be lots of opportunities for you to just be during that retreat. So I want to encourage you to check that out. You can sign up on my website, www.soulcarecoachingllc.com. Definitely want to encourage you to check that out. And then as far as individuals and organizations, on my website, you can book a consultation with me if you want to just do a 30-minute discovery call. I would be happy to sit down and chat with you about options to support and serve you or your organization. So again, thank you, Lena, for creating this space for the community. So thankful for you and your leadership.
Awesome. So, with that, today we are excited that you have joined us. We wish you nothing but the best in 2026. And to those who are listening who need some level of soul care, I encourage you to reach out to Brittany to get what you need. Let this year be just as impactful for you, no matter what role you are, whether you're a parent, whether you are a friend, a daughter, a professional. It doesn't matter. We all have souls and they all need care. Until next time, thank you for joining Authentic Encounters. Lena Speaks.